I am Kabbani, and this is the Lighthouse for today's viewers. Welcome to our show. Imagine the first decade from the third millennium is gone. We started today the new second decade of the new third millennium. Imagine how fast the time going without notice. About time to maybe sit and think what we have been accomplished last year and last decade. Let's hope for new fresh beginning for this new year and second decade in the third millennium. As I always said, I like to reach out and bring you the best of what I find in my community to give you some ideas to think about it. Today, I brought you a young lady, a new blood, a new thoughts, new generation of Arab American living in this country, to give us also an idea how is the new generation of Arab American think and live American way. Today we will go with her navigating the recession through her journey. So she will talk about it. But first, let's her introduce herself to you, my viewers. Welcome.
Thank you.
To our show. Will you please introduce yourself to our viewers?
Well, thank you for having me on your show. And really pleased to be here and your first guest of the new second decade of the millennia. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you my journey through school, through work, and today. So thank you again for having me on your show. My name is Yara Farr. I am a first-generation Arab American. My parents came to this country a few years before I was born, so I was born and raised here. And I've been privileged to live a life of two very important cultures.
Yes.
As you know, being both Middle Eastern and
That's right.
American. So
that's right.
I get the best of both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yes. What's your specialty? You graduate from
Yes.
university.
I did.
Okay.
I studied architecture at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. Got my bachelor's of architecture from there. And it was a very challenging but very rewarding degree. And I find myself today in a very rewarding career and field, but unfortunately with the economy in the state that it's in, I haven't been as fortunate in the job market as I first was right after school. So it's a bit of a struggle, but I'm finding my way through it now. And that's why I'm here to share with you my journey through the recession. So.
That's wonderful. I noticed that you have a new baby in the family.
Oh,
new generation.
Yes, my first niece, my only brother who's had a baby, and I'm so excited because she's beautiful, and her name is Mia, and I'm so excited to finally meet her, and she's only 1 month old, and she's the cutest baby in the world.
I believe she brings the new life. You feel it in the
absolutely.
family.
Oh, yes.
Everybody is happy.
I've never really experienced a child firsthand, I guess, to be so close to me. And from the minute she was born, it just, it's to see new life like that, it brings hope to everybody. So
Hope and happiness.
hope
yes.
and happiness,
Yes.
and
I agree. I agree.
especially during tough times, it's it's more than welcome to.
What about your mother? Did she accept to be a grandmother?
Not at first. Before she was born, no. But I mean, the minute you see such, beautiful innocence, it's like you can't help but want to be a part of that. And
Yes.
so special. So, yes, now she is very excited to be a grandmother, as much as I'm excited to be an aunt.
Yes, that's
So,
wonderful. Someday you will find yourself in the same situation and have a baby.
I hope so.
Look at it. Motherhood is different.
I'm already looking
young.
at it in a different light than ever before
Yes.
because of her.
New life,
so.
new
life.
step.
New life.
And you build up with that change in your life, something different view.
Yes.
Your ideas, your goals will be changes with the
true.
New changes, major changes in life.
That's right.
And that's what God created us to continue on this world, generation after generation.
Yeah.
So as a new generation, as young Arab American in this country, what kind of struggle or life, easy life you have? You are born here,
Yes.
easier than other.
This is true. And unfortunately, sometimes, we take for granted that fact that, we didn't really have the same struggle that our parents had. And it's important to realize what they went through for you so that you can sort of continue their dreams and make for them what they wanted you to make for yourself. So it's important to realize
That's a good point.
their struggles.
You go visit the Middle East from time to time?
I wish I could visit more. It's so important to make that journey back home to understand where you're from, but I've only made that trip maybe 3 or 4 times in my life, but each one it was just as important as the last, and especially the most recent. When I was older, when I was in college. One time I went there, and it's definitely the experiences were, it's hard to put in words what you get from it, but it's very fulfilling to have made that journey.
Each visit with different age will
Exactly.
give you new knowledge about the
Exactly.
background of your parents.
Right.
And with what you have, you put things together and you compare. And
That's
you
right.
feel the closeness to the roots, but also you feel how fortunate you live in different kind of life and
Right.
Opportunities to live better.
Well, it was interesting because as fulfilling as this last journey was, it also left a strange emptiness,
Mm-hmm.
because for the first time I realized what I had been missing,
Mm-hmm.
and I never knew I missed it, or it was missing from my life until I went there. And then you realize that, these people and the culture, your family that you've left behind,
Yeah.
you don't realize that important piece is missing from you
Yeah.
until you see it.
Yes.
But, it's better late than never, and I really appreciate that I was able to understand that. And now I feel much more fulfilled than ever before, having them, a part of me now, a real tangible piece of me that I understand and that I saw. So it's very important.
Different background, different picture, and different experience in life too.
Right.
And that's nice to put things together, especially Middle East is full of interesting things for the whole world,
Yes.
actually.
Yes, we can.
Especially Holy Land for 3 religions.
That's right.
It started over there. The way we look at the religion from the roots of different than maybe the European or American look
Yes.
at it, because it comes with books, but for us it comes there. We
Right.
are in it as atmosphere, as Holy Land.
That's right. I mean, anybody, not just Middle Eastern, you know, anyone that would make a journey to this special city of Jerusalem. I mean, it's so important in human history. This one place where all these cultures and religions were like born out of, you know, and come together, and they still live together. And, you know, within a very small radius, you have such a mix and variety of people that are there for basically the same reasons, the same purpose, and to see them, you know, interact together like that. And they've been now doing that for such a long time. You know, it's an important journey to see that, no matter where you come from. But if you can take that on such a small scale, be able to live in such a tight community, you know, with different people, but for the same purpose, you know, you can really evolve that way. And
yeah, you feel the whole village or city or whatever like family.
yes, that's
together.
true.
They know each other. They live happily, helping each other.
Right. And, you know, of course, set aside the politics behind
Sure.
the actual city of Jerusalem, but when you get down to the core, the people,
Yeah.
the way they live every day, you know, the way they respect each other's space, you know, that I don't think anybody knows or sees that, but until you go and you just walk the old streets,
Yeah.
you know.
But this is what human on earth have to do as God wanted to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Hopefully it will be peaceful,
Right.
for good, for all, to feel that way and to visit that area and to live that touch of humanity and spiritual and things, be happy together as
That's right.
on earth. So how was your school time or high school time maybe?
Well, it's you know, there's always been struggles between your identity when you come from two different sort of cultures and you're trying to be a little bit of both. There's sometimes sort of that inner struggle of, you know, are you more this way or more that way?
Yeah.
And you know, life is just about balance. You know, it's always been that way. You need to find that middle ground that you're really comfortable with, that you can be comfortable with yourself and and be able to fit in both sides. You know, it's that's always the struggle, is just finding the balance. But when you do, it's very rewarding to have the best of both. And so I am, you know, I'm glad to say that I can talk about a culture very different from most, and it's brought me so many experiences that a lot of people don't have because of where my parents come from, you know, and then just to also have all the opportunities of being here in America and having, you know, gone through all my education and getting a great degree and being able to go to a great school and having all the freedom to just be whoever you want to be, but I have to thank my parents for that.
That's the greatest gift,
you know,
your parents gave it to you.
is.
Living in America and having all this freedom.
Absolutely.
And choose what you like, not what you have to do, because the limit of what they have is
That's right.
tied up, and you have to choose from that.
I thank them very much because, you know, they've allowed me to do that. And it was never, you know, I mean, you always say, I want my kid to be a doctor and a lawyer. Of course they said that, but it was never like, you have to be this way or that way. It was always, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And dream big, you know. My mom is always telling me, just, you know, shoot for the stars, dream as big as you can do.
The sky
and that's
is
what
the limit.
the sky, of course, you know, I hear that a million times growing up. And that's what I did. Dream as big as you can dream.
Wow.
You know,
I can put my big dreams beside your dream. It will be bigger.
Probably. You should never stop dreaming.
Okay,
Even now, you know, I haven't stopped dreaming. But
I agree with you.
at least I can say that I've already accomplished so many of those dreams that I had.
That's wonderful. I'm happy for you.
But I'm not going to stop.
There is a lot to do.
There's so much more to go, and
yeah, I can tell. I can tell. There is a lot to talk about with you. And
yes.
Actually, we'll have a break. And
okay.
Come back soon.
Great.
We'll be back soon.
You're watching The Lighthouse for today's viewers, brought to you by oneworldforyou.org.
So, before the break, we have been talking about your big dreams.
Yes.
You dreamt big, and you went to the moon and the stars, maybe, as your mother said.
Right.
Is this the thing what you were planning as a study, and you accomplished what you were looking for, or some of your dreams still?
Well, like I was saying before the break, I did accomplish a lot of what I initially set out to do. And I knew from a very young age, what I wanted to do. I already had my mind made up early. It was always easy for me. I can remember the exact day I knew that I was going to be studying architecture. It was 8th grade, and we had a career counselor, and we all had to go visit her. So I went, and she sat me down, and she asked me, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I didn't have the exact words at the time, but I told her that I wanted to design internationally.
Wow.
And I don't think I knew at the time really what that meant. Mm-hmm. And so she looked at me and she's like, I think what you want to do is you want to be an architect. And I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. So I knew since then that I always wanted to do that. I knew that I was passionate about two things, really, about designing. I always drove around and I looked at buildings and I was like, I want to do that one day. I like those really tall buildings and I want to design something like that. And I knew I loved to travel. Even from when I was young, my parents, we went to the Middle East, we went to Europe. My parents were always big on traveling, and I got the travel bug at a very young age. So I knew that I loved to travel, and so somehow in my mind I wanted to combine those two things. So international design is what I came up with. And so the minute she said architecture, that was my goal in my mind. From then on it was like, okay, I have a focus. It's architecture from here on out. And so that was the beginning of my career.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Went through high school and I started my first drafting class senior year. And I knew this was the right thing for me. This is what I was passionate about. So I started looking at schools and what was the best for me, something maybe not too far from my family, but a really good school. And I found the perfect fit with Cal Poly. And I didn't get in right away.
You had it in mind.
But it was in my mind always. Mm-hmm. And I never gave up on it though. And third time's a charm. Third application into the school was the one that made it, and I was accepted. I did 2 years at a junior college, at a city college. So I stayed home and I went to junior college. And then when I was finally accepted to Cal Poly, I did my remaining years there and got my Bachelor of Architecture. So I never gave up on that dream. And as hard and difficult as it wasn't the easiest major. A lot of late nights, all-nighters. At least once a week, I did not sleep for a full 24 hours.
Wow.
And projects, literally blood, sweat, and tears into every project. But at the end, it's
you made it.
It's quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
And
you feel the happiness.
You do, and it's and I'm glad that I could make my parents proud too.
Yes.
To see me accomplish my dreams, even when they couldn't always accomplish theirs, they're happy to know that I was able to accomplish mine. So, yeah, it was great to study architecture.
So at that time after graduation, is it hard to find a job or no?
Well, yeah, that was the thing, was as soon as I graduated, the economy was at the very height.
Mm-hmm.
This was 2007, and right when I came out, that was the peak. So that was a great time to be graduating. In fact, I had no problem getting interviews. Even before I actually graduated, a few months, I already started interviewing with companies, that wanted to know for, as soon as I graduated,
Yes.
they'd want you to come work for them. So interviews, finding them was not a problem at all. I had multiple of them, and I eventually did find a job with a really great company here in Sacramento, and I was able to work for them for a couple years, and it was a really great experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, right after, maybe it was about the end of 2007, a few months after I started was the very beginning of the decline of the economy. And so I started at the peak, and I got to watch it just kind of, go downward. And that was a difficult thing to be able to experience. Your first job is already, you see your layoffs happening, multiple of them.
Companies get hurt.
Right, unfortunately. And the construction industry in Sacramento was starting to really decline rapidly. And the layoffs began. It was, you start seeing your friends leave the company, and then,
Your
eventually
turn.
my turn.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in a little bit. So, yeah, but, it's always, life is full of obstacles, right?
Yes.
And it's how you find your way around them that gets you even further ahead in the end.
Yeah.
And
Maybe the hard time you are in make you think and open another door.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be the same major. Maybe little course with other things beside added to your major will
Right.
open another door for the time being until you get the same opportunity for later. But at least you will have something belong to the same knowledge and experience what you have.
That's right. I started getting interested into green design, green building.
Yes.
During my work, I decided it would be a good idea to get my LEED certification, and so sustainability has become such a huge issue. With today, with climate change, with everything. Buildings consume so much of
Yes.
the energy that it's so important in my work and in our lives that that's one thing. When I was working, I wanted to make sort of world. I wanted people to sort of understand, because it starts with our clients.
Yes.
When they come to you and they ask you, I want a green building,
Yeah.
then we can provide.
Yes.
But it's more difficult to convince people that that's what.
Now there's
they
nobody will ask because it will cost money
Right.
to do it now with
Because
that hard time now.
That's the problem is, with the green building, a lot of the cost is up front.
Yes.
So it's hard for people to want to,
It's not a wise, action to spend what you have in the hard time. Maybe you don't know how long it will take until
Right.
you get back to normal. So if they have something, they will hold it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, though, it's more important now than ever to address the issues of climate change.
Yes.
But, many things sort of take, a backseat when the economy is down. And
Yeah, I bet if it is, what you're talking about, it happened that 7 years ago or 5 years ago, it will be climbing because there's a bad need and
Right.
people have their own lifestyle established and their income established, so they can do it.
Right.
But for this time, it's really difficult to start something. Really, you need it, but you need the money what you have in pocket
Yes.
more than what you will accomplish for the new thing now.
So, I mean, there are many incentives that, you know, a lot of companies like SMUD tried to put out there for people to, you know, invest in, especially for their home, and, you know, to start thinking that way, that in that, you know, for energy efficiency.
Yes, but your help is badly needed. Yes, I agree.
So, but things like, you know, those are the things I did want to accomplish, you know, going back to when I set out what I wanted to do when it came to architecture. And, you know, it's all about helping people and making changes.
Yeah, you have a great heart, actually. Yes, you need to make living, but through helping people. That's the greatest. Yes, the greatest idea. I like it. So I believe ups and downs now as swinging, but it will be easier soon, I hope.
Yes.
This year, maybe.
There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. If we didn't hope, if we didn't have a hope and, you know, positive thinking, we will not continue living happily or living to reach that point. We have to think positive and reach out and have maybe the dream smaller now.
Yes.
And maybe different direction. But a dream. It has to be something to dream about and look for it and do it.
It's always
because
about
you
the
have
next
basic.
step.
You have basic now. You are not starting from zero.
Right.
You have basic. You build up little bit.
The foundation is set. So.
Yes, and I believe with your smart way and clear vision, you will find maybe by chance sometimes. We don't plan everything. Sometimes you see a group of people or some people doing something, or you were visiting somebody and listen to the conversation and find something, cut your attention, inspiring you. At that point, you will start thinking about that new thing and around that new thing in your life, and you will build it up. You never know. You have the ability.
Yes.
You have the ability, and you have the basic roots for studying also. So I believe it will not be hard, it will not be difficult. You will find your other window, and you will open it.
Yes.
Yes, that's the beauty of new generation. They will not be, oh my God, I have 10 kids, I have 5 kids. You're still young, you will catch it.
That's right.
I know it will be
Generation Y for the yes generation. Yes, we can.
Yes, you can. Yes, you make difference. Even maybe if you reach out and go volunteer, you'll find things in your way.
Yes.
So I guess there is a lot to talk about it. I can tell now with your smile that there is something you will tell us.
We have more to say.
Okay. So wait until we come back. So there is a lot to tell us about. So we'll be back soon.
oneworldforyou.org, promoting cultural understanding through the media.
We're back. Before the break, our guest Yara was telling us about the struggle to find a job after the economy get down and they fire most of the companies start to fire people because of the income. Their company will not cover the needs. So let's find out what kind of search she does until now, or she is doing to find a job. Maybe we can benefit from that. So Yara, what are you doing now to find a job? How to?
Well, you know, we were talking about those obstacles that we find in the road, and that's, you know, you really have to understand the way that jobs are being hired for now, today. So the best way to find a job is it's really about, okay, think, how are employers looking for people to hire? What method are they using to find employees? And then you can, when you understand that, then you can use that method to, you know, find a job yourself. what I'm finding most is that the number one way employees are searching is first in-house, because they want to go to somebody that, you know, they trust right away. Mm-hmm. And what more than your own people that you've trained. So that's, you know, the statistics are that's how they are hiring, number one. Well, since I'm not at a company and I can't, you know, that's option one is gone from my list. So the second way is that they're actually hiring based on recommendations from somebody in-house. So one of their own that says, I know somebody, or, you know, so that's sort of the latest method that I think, you know, best applies to me and that I am going for. So it's all about networking. It always has been, and I think it always will be. It's not what you know, but, you know, who you know.
Yeah.
So it's really important to make those direct connections. And today, what the great thing about networking and making connections is that it's much easier than it ever was before with all the social networks that are out there online. You know, you can utilize Facebook, LinkedIn, and it is a great professional online association. You know, it's a way to connect with people from all sorts of companies. It's all about just getting out there and talking to people, you know, make those connections, network, and eventually it's going to lead to, oh, I know somebody that knows somebody, you know.
Yes.
And that's going to be, you're going to have the highest percentage in that method of finding a job. Unfortunately, when I started looking, I was using the least best method, which was, you know, just get your resume and look through email lists.
The traditional,
you know, sort of the traditional, and just start sending email after email with resumes to, you know, dear hiring manager, which is Mr. Mrs. Unknown subject.
Yeah, with no name.
You've no idea who. And so that's how I started, and it was just like, okay, let's send, you know, tons of emails every week, get 0 response back. And if you're lucky, you might get an automated response back, which is, you know, send to everybody, send all, thank you, sorry. But most of the time, I mean, 90% of the time, you don't even know if they received anything from you because you get no response whatsoever. So that was sort of like a blind method of job searching.
And disappointing.
It's very discouraging when you're sending out tons of resumes and getting 0 response, not even,
how many stamps?
Not even, hi, we got it, thank you, just nothing. It's like, you know, sending your resume out into this black abyss.
I guess they need an employee to return the calls. So they don't have that
no, they don't.
ability.
Exactly. And you're just basically fighting numbers that way. You know, your odds are just so low. It's like your resume against hundreds of thousands of people looking at that same job posting. So when I realized sort of, okay, this method is not working, you know, I turned to sort of job experts and even books to say, okay, you know, what can I be doing better? And that's where I found this new methodology. It's you know, it's not really a new one. I mean, networking has always existed, but and it just remains the number one way to find a job these days. It's and I know it's just a matter of time now. You know, once you make all those connections, it's like eventually somebody's going to say, I know somebody that I think would be perfect. And so
in fact, I believe you remind me something. I believe this method will work always for all kind of activities, not just a job. I remember a lady, an Arab lady in Los Angeles. She ran for office. When we asked her to give us an idea how she did it, to let other people learn how to do it, just because we need Arab American people in the offices just to share the idea and learn and give their own also knowledge to help also with having the things for change.
Yeah.
So the answer was very, very, very unusual, very, very, very shocked for us that I was volunteering in the campaigns. Every time they have campaign, I was volunteering, so I become well known. And they asked me to do.
Yes, that's actually
Nobody
very
will
important.
think about it. You get to the point of, do that big step for Arab American women through little steps of volunteering. For us in our culture, there is no such a name of volunteering or meaningful and counting as a benefit.
Right.
We help. But we share the help as family, not as counting credits or volunteer. In this country, every step counted, and every step can give you back feedback more than you think.
That's right. Volunteering is a great step
It
into
is networking.
It is networking.
After all, it's networking.
And I definitely want to get into that next and sort of what I'm doing, these days in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
But, it just comes back to not giving up, it's overcoming those obstacles. And it can be discouraging a lot of the time, it's especially in the news. It's not always easy to hear the numbers are still going down and things like, or the numbers for unemployment go up and the number for jobs is going down. I was actually just reading an article in the Sacramento Bee, and it was actually a very discouraging article for me because it was discussing hot and cold college majors. And what was right at the very top of the list, but architecture was at the top as the highest unemployment rate, 11.4% or something like that. And with the least unemployment rate was actually nursing, was 2%, but 2.1%.
We need nursing always.
Right.
And the house real estate market get hurt badly in this economy.
Exactly. But going into it, from school, it was not an issue at all. And all I kept hearing was, the good thing about your major is you're not going to have a problem finding a job, and which was accurate at the time, but unfortunately, the numbers have changed. So, but like I said, even when you read these things or you hear things about, unemployment on the rise and, it's hard to find a job or there's no jobs. I mean, there are always jobs. People are always moving. People are always retiring. People are, there's always jobs. It's just a matter of not giving up and continuing
how to find it.
and finding the job for you. So.
You are absolutely right. Yeah. Keep going and keep doing what you think is right. And I will not ask you about the unemployment offices because I know it's full. And there is no jobs enough for people to get help that much because of the same story. But with your attitude, the positive attitude, you will keep going for sure, and absolutely you will find a better job for you.
Yes.
But networking is really important.
It is very important.
If you realize, for me, I'm old generation, and I wasn't really going through steps as colleges and things in this country. But from year to year, you find with that new technology and new age of media and things, a lot of things goes to the business with no notice or with no. It was fun. It was something to play with, like Facebook.
Right.
It become network and it become advertising for business. People play with it, have fun, and some people have bad things in it from that. But on the other hand, they change the subject and they create from the thing what we have new in the market to have it working for business, which is amazing.
Yes.
The emails also, how much work with the advertising emails and things. Those new generation of technology and media, it's amazing.
They're all tools, and
through
today's
network.
industry. They are.
From
They're
home.
tools for networking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
And maybe now there is list at companies. You go and search through or give your information to that company, and they spread the word through that package of networking, and they reach out like advertising. So maybe, who knows, this new decade also will bring us
yes, who
new
knows
ideas.
Who knows what will come in the next 10
who
years?
Knows? Yes, who knows? Because with this past 10 years, we have a lot of new things coming.
There's always things to hope for.
Yes.
There's always new.
Remember, every day there is sunset and next day there is sunrise.
That's right.
So start new day with the same circle, with the same sunshine and hope. So always have a hope and always have something to look for. And thank God you're still young and you don't have kids to feed.
Right, and I must, I am very much more fortunate than a lot in my situation because I have such a great support system. I have my parents who've always supported me and support me now, and they've made it possible for me to, to be okay during this time and to continue to always do what I love in life and to reach for that, always reaching for that dream.
That's why also I want you to share us. I brought the subject just because I like to share with the viewers and through you that you feel the struggle with the people. You know what does that mean, even it is not hurtful that much for you, but other families get hurt a lot.
I can't imagine what many are going through.
Yes.
That are not in the situation that I'm in, that don't, that don't have a lot of the responsibility, a family to. I can imagine people with families that are struggling, and
it's hurtful, and it keeps us thinking how to thank.
Definitely, this situation has allowed us all to sort of reevaluate our lives and what's important to us.
Yes. And
to really, understand not just our struggles, but the struggles of others. And
that's the lesson to learn.
It is. It's a very humbling lesson to learn.
Yes.
And
with appreciation with what we have, and
yes,
it's really hurtful. But as I've mentioned, there is every day sunrise and sunshine to look for it. Let's focus on other things, maybe cheerful a little bit when we come back. So we'll be back soon. So now we heard about the struggle. Let's look how good things will be coming from my lovely topic, what I like to address, volunteer work. Let's our guest talking about that. So Yara, what are you doing as volunteer?
Well, as I wait to find out what's happening next in my life, I've decided to find other ways to contribute to the community through volunteering. And it's turned out to be a much more rewarding experience than I ever imagined. So I'd like to talk about, what I've been helping with. I've been working at the Grace Foundation, which is it's a horse rescue. They rescue abused and neglected horses, mainly is their function. But since their first mission, which was solely that purpose, they've taken those rehabilitated horses and used them in learning and therapeutic programs for youth and children that have like are autistic or suffering any other issues. And the programs with the horses they've really responded to the animals in ways that have been really helpful for them, the way that they interact with them. And so now it's become not just about the animals, but about the animals and the children
Exactly.
and how they're helping each other. And, to be a part of something like that, it's more than I ever expected.
Yes.
It's very rewarding. And it's like my own, selfishly, it's like my own personal healing, adventure as well. And it's very important for us all, really, to sort of be involved in things like that, because we can all learn something from.
For sure, life is the largest school. You learn from day one to the last day in life from life. As long as you go out, reach out, meet new faces, new people, go different places, as you mentioned, traveling, you learn.
Right.
Every step you go, there is something new to learn from. It depends on your ability to learn. If you like to learn or you are out of it, you stay home in the corner watching TV.
Yes.
You stop your thinking. You stop your brain to do whatever it should be done for you. But you go out, you have fresh oxygen even for your blood and brain. So you will be able to watch and see and accept, adopt, and change of some habit, what you like, take it, adopt it, or take off something you don't, you saw better. You adopt it. Why not? So is this the only thing you have?
No, I've actually also helped in the Active 2030 group of Sacramento, and they're also an organization that helps children and youth. And there's a men's club and there's a women's club, and they both have separate programs that are targeted at youth programs, and they do a lot of great work with Shriners Hospital and Boys Girls Club, and so I think the most recent thing I did with them was back to school shopping, where we have like a select group of children that we take right before they start school in September, and each children is allotted like $100, and we go and we're paired with one, and we're able to help them buy the most important things they need for school, like shoes and socks and clothes.
That's wonderful.
And even give them a new haircut to start the school year off, right? And so it's just things like that. And I'm actually even looking for more opportunities now. There's so many of them all over. I've just received a book about volunteer vacations, and that's about short-term volunteering all over the world. There's so many opportunities everywhere. You can, if you're planning on taking a vacation, let's say for 2 weeks anyway, you can always take it somewhere where you can be a part of some kind of community outreach program.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So there's always things like that. There's even long-term traveling options that are like 6 months long, but I mean there's the shorter term, which I feel like everyone should at least try once. I mean, there's so much to be gotten out of these things that it's really important.
I believe a lot of inspiration things in it. Something excites you and make you feel you accomplished something new, different than your way.
That's right.
Life,
It's just another way to contribute to the community. I mean, even locally, there's, especially, around the holidays, there's so much that we can do. There's so many ways in which we can give. And,
Actually, the best way to spend the holidays to live with to be close to the needy people. Needy doesn't mean just needy for food or shelter.
Yeah.
Needy for love, needy as elderly people in nursing home. They miss something they need. And when you go and cover that need, share with them some stories, talk to them, smile for them. Sometimes small things you never thought about it, but they are in bad need for that small thing.
The problem is that we don't see it every day.
Yes.
So we don't know. And I guess my mother, actually, I've been talking to her about this recently, and she's been telling me about how, every day she walks to work and it's in Midtown, and she walks by the people in the street, the people that are like sleeping in front of the steps of the cathedral, and she sees it every day, and so she feels it, and she can't help but to want to help herself.
Yes.
But for the rest of us that don't walk by it every day and we don't see it every day, it's out of sight, out of mind. We don't think about it. And it's difficult to take a step back from our comfortable lives to think about the less
That's
fortunate.
the hardest part.
It is the hardest part because we're so used to what we have all, in our everyday lives, and we're so caught up and busy with our own little troubles.
And in fact, give us the careless feeling. Why I should go? Why I should have hard time? I'm comfortable this way.
Yeah.
It's hard to put in your mind, no, I have to go, I have to see, I have to do.
Yes.
That's the hardest part.
It doesn't take much, It's not that
Attitude.
Yes, attitude is
when you have it
important.
in mind, it will be done.
But it's also just the little things.
Yes.
You don't have to do, you don't have to sacrifice your whole week or weekend or anything. It's just even one little trip, one little contribution in any way.
How amazing to listen to the story of that boy or that youth or that adult, old, or that veteran in the street or this woman in the shelter, or there is a story behind that, why they become this way. To listen to that story, it's another experience.
Yes.
If you have time, courage, or for sure position, or whatever the situation, not every time you can ask that question. But when you hear the stories, it's really, as a human being, you feel how much need for help. The whole world changed too much.
It did.
And I don't know. I see so many things. It shouldn't be there, especially in America.
Yeah. When we all have more than we need. Many of us.
We are strong enough to not have. We shouldn't have that much. We should find out why it happened, fix up the problem, and educate people more how to live better or how to do better. Maybe lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Because not everybody raised in family home the right way. You cannot blame them after all for something they have. It's not in their hand. They become this way somehow from the previous things or the lifestyle what they have. So as a human being, it's nice to be in touch with other human.
Yes.
And care.
Rewarding. For
as you mentioned, rewarding. You have nothing to lose because you didn't take even time from your job time or something. While you are looking for a job, you can fulfill the emotional feeling and let you forget your struggle and your down feeling about, oh, I lost my job, what I should do. Yeah, there's a lot to do. Somehow, some way, someday, you will find a job. But those things will give you a strength inside of you and different point of view about life and values.
And it reminds you, even when in your struggles, the struggles of other people,
Absolutely.
And whenever you think you have it bad, there's always worse, and there's always something you can do about it. I feel like when you don't have much to give, because a lot of people say I don't have it right now. But that's when it counts the most, is when you don't have it.
Yes.
When you don't have much, what little you have and what little you give, that's when it really makes a difference and it counts more.
Sometimes you listen to somebody like to say something, struggle or frustrate him or her, or cry, bleeding inside, and he like to take it out. He has nobody to listen to. By chance you were there and you stop and you listen to him. You help more than you think. You help that person more than you think. Because the relaxation and the satisfaction what he got or she got from your listening, more than you cannot evaluate. You cannot evaluate that, how much big. But little touch, little smile sometimes.
Yes.
It makes difference.
It does. A smile makes a big difference.
Yeah. And really, volunteer work is the light of the darkness, in the darkness, really.
It is.
Whatever the situation, when you go and look and share. Now you see most of the movie stars going far to help.
Right.
If they look around, we
Just
have
look
more,
around your street.
more to help here. It doesn't have to be that far. We can help here with little, less than what they do, but little thing will count.
Every person counts.
Yes.
Everyone can make a
Yes.
difference.
And really, it's something also, as I mentioned, it's credit. You have credit after that. Students now, there are some organizations have volunteer students and give them credit for the school, and which is great also. Like you are paying something back for the volunteer person. But it's always, always nice to have good attitude, with big heart. We all have good heart if we want to work on it and think about it. Otherwise, if I don't think about this subject, how can I feel it? We always, always have good heart.
Yes.
Let's assume that life is full of opportunity to share that good heart. I really, at the end of this show, I enjoy my time. I didn't feel the time.
It's over
Did
already.
Did you know that
No,
you have been
I
filling
don't
up the
feel
whole
it at
show
all.
with lovely information from you as a young feeling, young girl. Really, I appreciate your coming to our show.
I very much appreciate you inviting me to be on your show. This was a really great experience, so thank you.
You're welcome. We'll have you again sometime.
Yes. I would love to come back.
My viewers, I would love to know if you like this kind of conversation with guests, like our guest Yara today. And if you have any story or something to share to inspire our viewers, I would like to hear from you. Will you please keep in touch with us? Let us know what is in your mind. What do you like to share with our viewers? I will appreciate it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.